Hi, I'm Jo Huey and I am completely passionate about helping those affected by somebody else's drinking. As an adult child of an alcoholic myself, I feel I'm in an excellent position to do this. I've also done over 15 years of self-development and transformed myself in that time. So what I've decided to do is take my skills, my knowledge and my real life experience and kind of package it all together to help other people. So today's video is all about being able to speak and open up to people about living with an alcoholic. This is something that I know everyone that's been in the same situation as me will relate to. There's an enormous amount of shame related to somebody else's drinking, and this is something that's, I kind of think that will be the same for a number of years and has been to date. But actually there isn't anything we have to be ashamed of. The behaviours and choices that the alcoholic makes isn't anything to do with us. And unfortunately, I think, for me, as I was growing up and in that environment, I was too young and too naive to understand that. But as an adult, I know now differently. But that has taken me a number of years through self-development and change and raising awareness of, myself, understanding more about alcoholism and how it affects people, so that I can actually appreciate that, my dad's drinking was nothing to do with me. And in fact, anybody's actions and their views and opinions and things like that is all to do with them. It's all about, that how they perceive the world and the choices that they make. And the same obviously is applicable to us. So everything we do and say, and that's our choices, and we're reacting to situations. So so now as an adult, I suppose I've got a much better understanding to think, actually, certainly as a child there was nothing that I could have done about my father's drinking. And I think that recently that's sort of come to my awareness a bit more in terms of, if you're a partner of a drinker, it's a completely different dynamic, obviously, than if you're a child of. The behaviours and the things in the environment, obviously they're pretty much the same, but how you cope with it, how you see things is very different as a child. And as a child, you don't have the power to just walk out the door. Not that that's any easier, I grant you, if you are if you do love an alcoholic, it's, but as an adult, you do have, I believe, more choices, more power in terms of, you could, should you have the self-esteem and confidence, choose to, leave your partner or, make a decision that's going to make you safe and so on. But as a child, you don't really have that option. And I think I really struggled with this, and I know that I developed quite a lot of anger and resentment towards my mother, because I felt she didn't protect me as a child of an alcoholic. And as I say, in that environment, you do keep everything a secret. You don't talk about the problem. Anyone that's lived in that environment, this isn't new, it's what we do, and therefore that creates this element of shame, that it's something to be embarrassed about. Don't get me wrong, I was very embarrassed, when my dad was drunk and how he would behave in front of my friends. And, as a kid, that is embarrassing. I think that would be true even if your father or parent wasn't a drinker. If they do embarrassing things, it's normal to feel embarrassed. But the shame of, being able to talk to somebody about what's going on, and also taking on that responsibility that somehow it's partly your fault. So I guess now I want to encourage adult children of alcoholics, which is, the name I discovered as I was going through my journey, which just basically means that I'm an adult now, but I was a child of an alcoholic. And, I am and was, I'd say more, I was profoundly affected by my father's drinking because of all the development and changes I've made. I feel like I've kind of put a lot of that to rest now, and I feel much better about myself, and I'm in the best possible place in my life. But it's been a journey, but it's a journey that anybody can choose to take. But I do appreciate that change is something that people struggle with, and it's a fear, it's outside their comfort zone, it's scary, they don't want to go into that unknown, and they accept where they're at. They think that this is the best it can be, because anything outside of this very nice comfort zone that they have is too scary, and I get that. I totally get that. But for me, I think I just wanted to change. I wanted to be different. I didn't want my life to be the same as my dad's. And eventually I did, you know, like build up some trust and learn to talk about it with people and not to feel that shame, because it wasn't my choice. It wasn't anything I'd done wrong. It was, you know, a whole lot of things that were going on for my dad, which actually I don't really know what that was. Some of the things I know what kind of triggered his drinking, but I don't really know how that, you know, started in the first place, if I'm honest. But I guess I just want to encourage people that, you know, that have experienced this. And some people I've discovered probably don't realise how much living in an alcoholic home has impacted them. They may well just accept that that's part of their personality, or how they react to things is just the way they are, which is a common phrase people use, but actually it's more than likely contributed from their childhood. Some people are aware, and they feel the shame. And I think that with anything, it's all about small steps. I would suggest finding somebody close to you that you feel that you could open up to, maybe even joining a group like Al-Anon, or there's loads of online Facebook groups that help. Obviously my own page is all about sharing information and sharing experiences, and, you know, gaining some trust and some help and support from people that kind of get it, that really understand the situation you've been in. But start small, pick somebody that you know, like and trust, and that, you know, will hear you and not judge you, and just feel reassured from someone that's been there that totally it isn't anything to be ashamed of. It is an experience that someone has been going through that's impacted on you, which you had no control over. So I hope that that's been insightful and helpful. Like I say, the main things I would suggest is finding someone that you know, like and trust, and, you know, opening up to them. Even talking about the word shame and why you feel ashamed, because it may well be different for everybody. Looking for groups like Al-Anon or other Facebook groups, like my own group, and maybe doing some research and having a look online about shame as well, because there is a lot about it online that you can learn. So, but just feel heard, and you aren't alone. So I'll be doing some more of these videos, so please feel free to share them with anyone you think may well benefit, because the more we do in terms of raising awareness, the better